Imagine this. You open your phone, scroll for a few minutes, maybe an hour, maybe more. Notifications pop up like tiny bursts of excitement, each one promising connection, validation, or at least a distraction. Hundreds of friends, thousands of followers, endless feeds filled with smiling faces, perfect vacations, and inspirational quotes. The world has never been so connected. Yet, for some reason, when you finally put the phone down, you feel emptier than before you picked it up. Why does that happen? Why can we spend hours inside an infinite digital world of connection, yet still feel profoundly disconnected from ourselves and from others? It's a strange paradox, isn't it? We thought social media would make us feel closer, but often, it leaves us lonelier. We thought it would bring clarity, but instead it overwhelms us. And here's the strange truth most of us already feel deep down. The more time we spend chasing connection online, the more disconnected we become offline. This isn't just a story about technology. It's a story about human psychology, about why our endless pursuit of digital connection often leads us further away from real connection. It's about the hidden cost of a like, a share, a comment. And it's about the silent emptiness that no amount of scrolling ever seems to fill. Because here's the question. If we have everything we ever wanted, attention, validation, even admiration, why does it still feel like something's missing? The stakes are higher than most of us realize. This isn't just about wasting time on our phones. It's about what we risk losing in the process. Every moment spent endlessly scrolling is a moment not spent truly living. Every time we trade a real conversation for a quick comment, we lose the richness of authentic connection. And every time we measure our worth by the approval of strangers online, we chip away at our own sense of identity. What starts as entertainment quickly turns into comparison. And comparison, as Theodore Roosevelt once said, is the thief of joy. Think about it. When was the last time you scrolled through social media and left feeling genuinely fulfilled, instead of restless or insecure? There is a hidden cost here, one that doesn't show up in our data usage or screen time reports. The cost is our attention, our self-esteem, and ultimately our peace of mind. The cost is measured in the hours we lose, the relationships we neglect, and the quiet loneliness we carry around even in a world of endless connection. If we don't recognize this cycle, we risk spending our lives chasing validation that will never satisfy us, while missing out on the real, meaningful connections that could. And maybe that's the greatest danger of all. Not that social media consumes our time, but that it consumes our sense of self. Philosophers have long warned us about the danger of chasing illusions. Søren Kierkegaard once said that the greatest hazard of all, losing oneself, can occur very quietly in the world, as if it were nothing at all. And isn't that exactly what happens on social media? We lose ourselves quietly, post by post, like by like, without ever noticing until it's too late. What we see online is not reality. It's a simulation of reality. The French philosopher Jean Baudrillard described this as simulacra, copies of things that never really existed in the first place. On social media, we don't see the messy, complicated, contradictory lives people actually live. We see carefully curated fragments, highlight reels, polished masks, and filtered illusions. But here's the paradox. The more we consume these illusions, the more real they begin to feel. And the more real they feel, the more inadequate our own unfiltered lives appear in comparison. Psychologically, this is devastating. Human beings are wired to compare themselves to others. It's a survival instinct. But when the comparison is based on something false, something unattainable, we trap ourselves in a cycle of endless dissatisfaction. We don't just envy someone else's vacation or success. We envy an image or performance, a brand of self that doesn't even exist outside the screen. And so, even as we accumulate followers, likes, and hearts, the heart inside us grows emptier. Because we're not actually connecting, we're performing. And performance, no matter how convincing, is not the same as intimacy. This is the great paradox of social media. It promises connection while delivering isolation. It promises fulfillment while amplifying emptiness. And it promises truth while feeding us carefully edited lies. Let's step away from the philosophers for a moment and look at ourselves. Think about the last time you posted something online. Maybe it was a photo, a thought, or just a story that disappeared in 24 hours. Be honest. What did you hope for when you hit share? Most of us won't admit it, but the truth is simple. We wanted to be seen. Not just noticed, but validated. We wanted proof, however small, that we matter. A heart, a thumbs up, a comment. It doesn't seem like much, but each one lights up the brain like a tiny spark of dopamine. The problem is that sparks fade fast, and the emptiness comes rushing back the moment the notifications slow down. This cycle is why social media feels so exhausting. It trains us to live for reaction instead of reflection, for applause instead of authenticity. And slowly, without realizing it, we become addicted not to the connection itself, but to the feeling of being seen. But here's the tragedy. The more we chase this feeling, the more disconnected we become from the things that actually fulfill us. Instead of sitting with our own thoughts, we drown them out with noise. Instead of building deep relationships, we settle for surface-level exchanges. Instead of pursuing meaning, we chase attention. It's no wonder so many of us feel a kind of emptiness when we close the app. We've been feeding ourselves with cotton candy, sweet, addictive, but with no real substance. And you can't live on cotton candy. So the question becomes, how do we step off the cycle? How do we return to the kind of connection that actually fills us instead of drains us? Here's the twist. Maybe the problem isn't just social media itself. Maybe the problem is what it reflects back to us about our deepest human needs. Because social media doesn't create our hunger for validation, it exposes it. It doesn't invent our desire to compare, it magnifies it. And it doesn't manufacture our loneliness, it simply puts it under a brighter spotlight. Think about it, before social media, people still compared themselves to neighbors, colleagues, or classmates. They still sought approval and recognition. They still felt lonely in crowded rooms. Social media didn't create these feelings. It just turned them into a 24-hour competition. One where the scoreboard is public, addictive, and endless. And here lies the irony. The more we try to escape loneliness by scrolling, the lonelier we feel. The more we try to fill the emptiness with likes, the emptier we become. What we're really doing is outsourcing our self-worth, handing it over to strangers, algorithms, and metrics that will never truly know us. This is where the trap tightens. Because once our sense of value is tied to external numbers, followers, likes, views, we can never get enough. 1,000 likes feels amazing until we see someone with 10,000. 10,000 feels huge until we see someone with 1,000,000. The finish line keeps moving and the emptiness keeps growing. And so, we scroll, post, repeat, hoping that maybe this time, the notification will finally silence the quiet ache inside us. But it never does. Because the real hunger we're trying to feed is not for likes, but for meaning. And meaning cannot be measured in numbers. And maybe this is the deepest irony of all. In the pursuit of constant connection, we've never been so disconnected. Surrounded by voices, yet unheard. Surrounded by images, yet unseen. Surrounded by thousands of friends, yet lonelier than ever. This is not just a digital issue, it's an existential one. Because what we're actually searching for isn't more followers, more likes, or more comments. What we're searching for is belonging. What we're starving for is intimacy. What we're aching for is the experience of being truly known. But here's the realization, no app can give us that. No algorithm can deliver it. Because true connection is messy. It's unfiltered. It takes time, vulnerability, patience. It happens in silence as much as in speech. It happens not when we broadcast our lives, but when we share them. The climax of this story is the moment we realize that the emptiness we feel after scrolling isn't a glitch in the system. It is the system. Social media is designed to keep us hungry, to keep us chasing, to keep us scrolling. It's not failing us, it's working exactly as intended. And once we see that, something shifts. Because suddenly, the weight of that emptiness makes sense. It's not proof that something is wrong with us. It's proof that something is wrong with the way we've been taught to connect. The real turning point is when we stop blaming ourselves for not feeling satisfied online and start asking a harder question. What if satisfaction was never the point? So here we are, living in a time of infinite connection and infinite emptiness, surrounded by more voices than ever before, yet often struggling to truly hear our own. The paradox of social media is not that it connects us to little, it connects us too much, and too shallowly. And when everything is connected, nothing feels grounded. But maybe that's also the opportunity. Because the same technology that can make us feel so hollow can also remind us of what really matters. The emptiness we feel is not a curse, it's a signal. A signal that what we're consuming is not enough. That surface-level validation will never replace depth, that we need something real. The real solution isn't deleting every app or abandoning the digital world. It's reclaiming our humanity inside it. It's choosing moments of silence instead of endless noise. It's reaching out to one friend in person instead of chasing approval from strangers. It's learning that meaning isn't measured in likes, but in lives, the ones we actually touch. So here's the question I leave with you. The next time you close your phone and feel that quiet emptiness creeping, what will you do with it? Will you run back to the screen, hoping for one more notification to numb it? Or will you let that emptiness guide you back to something deeper, something real? Because maybe the truth is this. The emptiness of social media isn't there to destroy us. It's there to remind us of what we're missing. And the choice, as always, is ours.